Good morning. This is Pastor Jason of Kona Faith Center with a word for today. And the word for today is watchman. We are watchmen. Anytime we hear a word from the Lord, we are responsible to warn people whether they will listen to it or not. If we don't give the warning, will we be responsible for their death? And if we do give the warning, we'll save our own lives even if they don't respond to it. This is definitely a scary idea, but we don't have to be in fear. In fact, if we're not in faith, we'll not be able to do this. And it always starts with our time with the Lord. I find it interesting today that the Lord called Ezekiel to eat the Word. I think the idea here is that we need not just to read the Word, hear the Word, study the Word, but make the Word part of who we are until what comes out of our mouth without really thinking about it is the Word. Jesus said, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. He also said that a good man brings forth good things out of the good treasure that is in his heart. Head knowledge is good, but it's not enough. We have to get the word down into the core of our being, our heart, to have it come out of our mouth in comfortable and natural ways. I think that speaking the word comfortably and naturally, having Jesus conversations, is the easiest way for people to receive. Now, there's a concept called critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to read or hear something, identify the main idea, identify the principles, really grasp what's being said, come to a logical conclusion as to the veracity of the idea and the principles, and then come to a conclusion about how to integrate those ideas and principles that you think are correct into a simple action plan to follow and integrate them into your life. Now, this is a process that takes time and effort. The process requires reflective thinking, meaning rolling the idea around, attempting to see it from as many different perspectives as possible. The process then requires some form of expression to help you come to a logical conclusion. This requires writing or usually rewriting your thoughts or having focused discussions on the topic. And then it requires coming to a conclusion. And then it requires putting that conclusion into action. And then it requires practicing that action until it becomes something that's in your heart, something that you just do naturally. Now, it's really helpful to have people in your life that help you to do this. Because of the time this takes, most people never really do this. Critical thinking used to be taught in school, mostly in English lit, philosophy, and religion classes, but it's not anymore. They've developed a test to measure critical thinking and have discovered that the majority of people who graduate with a bachelor's degree make no significant improvement in critical thinking over the time that they were a high school freshman. Oddly enough, most people do not have the cognitive ability to think critically until about age of 13, which is when they start to develop this thing. And by the way, 13 is about how old most freshmen in high school are. So what's the point, Pastor? I am so glad you asked. Take time with the Lord in His Word, in prayer, in worship, daily, and process what He's saying to you in some real way, because He will hold us responsible. We'll be responsible to respond in obedience. We'll be responsible to warn others to do the same. The word for today is watchman. Be the watchman on the wall today. God bless. Check in tomorrow.